Hey gang, Alicia Cross here. If you are new, I am a yoga instructor, a personal trainer, a wellness coach. I have over 18 years of experience working with students and clients. Health and fitness is not my side hustle. This is what I do 24/7. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. My passion is to help you accomplish your goals and to understand that the foundation of that starts with health. I do that by merging science, nutrition, exercise, habit change, motivation with the ancient teachings of Ayurveda and yoga. So I'm here to motivate you, to inspire you, and to help you cut through all the confusion that's out there, all the fads about diet and exercise. I'm here to keep you accountable so I can help you to reach your goals. I go live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So if you haven't already, be sure to like my Facebook page, Alicia Cross Training, so you can catch these videos live. And if you are here live, thank you. Say hi in the comments so I know that you're here. And if you're catching the replay later, thank you for watching. And anytime you can post questions or give me your feedback, and I would love to chat. So today what I'm talking about is why I do what I do, my why. And I'll talk about my personal journey, but also you'll learn how what I do can help you. And I break this out into 4 categories. So 1 is mindfulness and meditation, 2 is exercise, 3 is yoga, and 4 is nutrition. So you'll learn how these things worked for me and continue to work for me, and how they can work for you and benefit your life. So I was listening to a podcast recently, and they talked about like knowing your why it is you do what you do, and not just saying, you know, I was born to do this or I've always done this. And that really made me stop and think, because I kind of felt like I just fell into this and it was just right for me and I just kept going. But I've had other jobs, I've done other things that didn't stick. So in addition to this fitness and wellness, I was also a massage therapist previously. That didn't stick. Before that, of course, I did things that we all do, like waiting tables and tending bar and working in retail. And those were all, you know, kind of temporary things, but it's not like I fell in love with doing any of those things and wanted to pursue them. And I was saying my past life, my first job, I worked at a finance company. And that was definitely something that didn't stick. I knew I was not meant to be at a desk job. And while I was working at that finance company, that's when I started teaching cardio kickboxing. So that was kind of my first little introduction into this life that I'm living right now. And that just happened. I was at a gym taking classes, and they lost an instructor, and they asked me to teach. Back then, you didn't even need a certification. I just jumped in and started teaching a class, and eventually did get certified and kept pursuing this, and here I am. So way back in the day, it started with teaching cardio kickboxing at night while I was working at a finance company during the day. So that's how I got started. So none of those other jobs stuck. I kept, you know, going down this path of fitness and health and wellness. So it did kind of find me, but I was on this path. I was meant to be here. So even back then, just teaching cardio kickboxing, I would love that feedback I got from people that they'd come to my class, you know, after work, and that was their transition. That was their buffer, that they could go from their day at work and then go home and be more present for their family, or they could just blow off some steam after work. So I knew what I was doing was valuable, was helping them in some way. And I think that kept pushing me to just find ways that I could help people more. So in this, you know, like listening to this podcast is talking about finding your why. I really had to reflect and do some inquiry as to why I do what I do. In yoga, that is a practice that's called svadhyaya, of self-study. And there's a really great quote. I do not know who said it. I can't find it again, but it's, if you want to know yourself, study other people. And if you want to know other people, study yourself. And that, to me, sums up what svadhyaya is. So that self-study for me looked like reading books, listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, listening to TED Talks. So kind of going down that path of learning about other people, learning about myself. And through that, what I found was a really, really helpful TED Talk that was about imposter syndrome. And she talked about this voice in your head, right? The voice in your head that says, I'm not enough, this or that, or, you know, this thing that we've called imposter syndrome. And she called this voice in our head the gremlins. And the podcast Biz Chicks, she calls it your inner mean girl. What is her name? Oh, I'm blanking on her name. Somebody else calls it the annoying roommate that's living rent free in your head. Dan Harris talks about naming these different characters in your head. So when this person kind of shows up with, you know, whatever it is they're saying, to give that person a name. So I started noticing this trend that everybody was kind of talking about, this voice in our head, this voice in our head. And I, of course, thought, well, I'm the only one that has this voice in my head, and everybody else has it figured out. So I'm starting to put the pieces together that, okay, no, maybe we all have this voice in our head. And what is this thing that I'm doing that's helping me to deal with the voice in my head? What are these things that I'm doing that are helping me deal with these moments of self-doubt or criticism, or I've talked here in another video about perfectionism. So what I started to piece together was that all of these things that I'm doing, these categories of meditation / mindfulness, exercise, yoga, nutrition, these are all helping me deal with that negative chatter in my mind. And especially meditation. That is the teaching about meditation, is that you are learning how to not necessarily quiet the chatter in your mind, not to quiet the mind, but you're noticing the chatter. So I realized that all these things that I'm doing were helping me deal with this negative self-talk that I was having. And what was really in my heart, what was really my passion, is that I wanted to help you. If you're having these issues with negative self-talk, I want to show you that these 4 things, these 4 categories, can help you to just feel better. So I'm going to talk more about that today. I want to start by saying that I am incredibly lucky. Everything that I have, my business, my home, my relationship, my health, all of it. I have no complaints. Everything is wonderful. And I do have these moments of negativity, self-doubt, fear, anxiety. I have the things. And it is absolutely possible to have one foot in each reality, to have an amazing life, to be grateful, to be fortunate, blessed, and lucky, and to have some things that you want to improve on, whatever they are. And maybe, you know, this isn't resonating with you. You don't have that annoying roommate in your head. Ariana Huffington, she calls it the annoying roommate in your head. Maybe you don't have that and that's not resonating with you. You don't have the gremlins. Great. Then I'm not, you know, this message is not for you. However, you might still have something, you might gain something from it, because you'll learn how to just feel even better. If you can relate, if you've had that experience of the doubt, the negative self-talk, the gremlins, whatever you want to call them, then perhaps you are like me, where you are thinking you're the only one. Everybody else has it so figured out. Everybody has it all together. So they don't. We're all kind of in this together. Or maybe you get this. You can relate. You know this. You know that this is something we're all dealing with. But maybe you didn't know that there's something that you can do about it. So I want you to know that if you are feeling stuck, there is something you can do. And the easiest way to kind of get unstuck, to move forward, to make progress, is to start with health. That is the foundation for everything you want to accomplish in your life. So these four things, this meditation, diet, exercise, and yoga, I want you to think of these as your kind of preemptive measures. There are some ways that these can help you in the moment, but these are preemptive. They are preventative. So I like to use the analogy of the Super Bowl. You can fill in, you know, your favorite sport or your sport icon. But I always say that Tom Brady does not wait till the Super Bowl to run plays. They've run those plays, they've run those drills, you know, hundreds of thousands of times when nothing was at stake. So when it's time for the big moment, they were prepared. The same thing with you. You cannot wait until you are in the moment, that you are just drowning in negativity and negative self-talk and criticism, to try to figure out how to get out of it. And you can use these techniques in the moment, but it's not going to be effective. You want to have this base, this foundation, so that you are better able to, one, prevent those situations, or two, deal with them when they arise. So if you want a good life, if you want to feel good, you have to practice when it's all not on the line. You can use these tools to pull yourself out, but they are so much more effective if you use them to not get yourself in it to start with. So this is one of the big reasons why meditation is crucial. So let's think about meditation. If you're in the thick of it, you're having all these negative self-talk and fears, probably sitting still with your own mind is going to be the worst thing you can do. Meditation is not very helpful. It may not be very helpful for you in the moment. It is crucial that you are practicing meditation and mindfulness on a regular basis, because you're going to notice your thoughts. You're going to notice that you're always thinking. A lot of you think you are not successful at meditating because you can't stop thinking. Guess what? That is what the mind does. It thinks. The goal of meditation is to notice that you're thinking. So hopefully these thoughts are pretty neutral when you're just having your daily meditation practice. You know, you're thinking about your to-do list, you're remembering this, you're planning for this, or you're preparing for this conversation or this interaction that's going to happen. So they're pretty neutral. The trick is just to notice that you're thinking and to get some separation. So knowing that your thoughts they're not reality. They are just your thoughts. And that's going to be a lot easier when you are in the thick of it to notice these negative thoughts, you know, the gremlins, the mean girls. That's not real. Those are thoughts in your mind. They are not real. So you need to prepare yourself so that these negative thoughts have less impact when they arise. Exercise. Now, exercise can be useful in the moment. So if you are stressed out, if you are anxious, if you are, feeling depressed, you can go for a workout and have a really good experience, alleviate some of that anxiety, that tension, relaxing, you're getting some blood flow, some circulation through your whole body. That is going to make you feel better in the moment. But of course, it's going to be really beneficial if you can just have a regular exercise practice. So exercise affects your body and very deeply your mood, from your hormones to your neurotransmitters. It even changes the structures in your brain. Studies have shown that it helps you to have more confidence, to be more social, you're better at planning, you're more outgoing. So exercise is going to help you to combat all of these negative feelings, keep your mood more at that positive place where you want it to be. And if you want to read more about these benefits that yoga has, not physically, but on your mind, on your emotions, read the book Spark by Dr. Rady. So he talks a lot about how exercise affects everything from anxiety, depression, postpartum depression, menopause, ADHD. So exercise is beneficial for all these things that we want to deal with. It really helps us to dial down the negative and increase any positive thing that you want in your life. Exercise. Yoga. Yoga offers something very different than exercise. And I've talked about this. There is tons of science to back this up, from activating the parasympathetic nervous system to activating that vagal response. There is a lot of science to really back up why yoga is so beneficial in a very different way than exercise. Because remember, exercise is putting us into fight or flight, and yoga is doing the opposite. It's putting us into rest and restore, rest and digest. And what I experienced is that regular yoga practice, for me, even 2 times a week, I just feel better. And the awesome thing about yoga is you don't have to know the science, you don't have to know the why, just like you don't need to know Sanskrit, but you are going to feel just better from doing a regular yoga practice. It can be helpful in the moment, and definitely picking the practice to counterbalance the feelings that you're having. If you're feeling very anxious, you might need more of a grounding and relaxing practice, or you might need to burn off some of that anxious energy with a vinyasa flow class. If you're feeling very down and lethargic, what we call tamasic, then you want a vigorating, warming, flowing practice. So you can definitely pick what is going to help to balance out your mood. But again, it's much more effective if you're using your yoga practice preventatively on a regular basis. All right, lastly, nutrition. So there's a lot of people and industries that really benefit from hiding the fact that that nutrition affects your mood. They want you to believe that you can eat anything and then you can go to the doctor and you can get this drug or this pill or this surgery or this procedure and you'll be cured and your diet has nothing to do with it. A lot of people benefit from that. But the truth is, food affects your mood. It affects your hormones, which affect everything in your body, including your mood. It affects your gut bacteria. Science is really just on the verge of discovering how important that gut bacteria is. Your gut bacteria can determine if you're normal weight or obese, if you have depression or anxiety, how your genes express themselves. Your gut bacteria is crucial. You are 100%, your mood is 100% affected by the food that you eat. You have to be willing to admit that if you eat like crap, you're gonna feel like crap. And the catch 22 is the things that make you feel the best in the moment. Think about those comfort foods that you like, or even having cocktails or having a glass of wine. Those things that make you feel the best in the moment are going to be the things that are most detrimental to your long-term health and well-being. So you really have to play the long game with nutrition and with all of these. And of course, please understand that I'm not saying that it is not okay to binge watch Netflix sometimes and have ice cream or macaroni and cheese. But if that is your MO all the time, or that is your coping mechanism all the time, that is not effective. You have to maintain all of the pillars of your overall well-being: physical, emotional, your intellectual, your spiritual, and your energetic. This absolutely happens with nutrition and all of these four topics that I'm talking about: meditation, yoga, exercise, and nutrition. This affects all of the pillars of your well-being. They're all interrelated. And this is what I have found through my journey. I need to meditate, even just 10 minutes a day. There's something very different that happens that I can feel, some real tangible results that I get through daily meditation. And again, it's just that idea of I'm just feeling better. Maybe I don't have the words to describe it, and our limbic brain, our emotional brain, is not really tied to our verbal centers, and that's why it can be hard to verbalize how we're feeling better, but it's that feeling that you just know. Exercise. I need to move my body every day. I like to do things that are different every day. I don't like to do the same thing every day. So from strength training to interval cardio, you saw my videos that I posted. I've been doing silks and parkour. So I need to move every single day, even doing, if it's some body weight work at home, some core work, using bands, using balls, whatever I can do, just moving every day. Yoga. My yoga practice is crucial. I talked to you a couple weeks ago about feeling really stressed out the past couple of months, and I had really let my yoga practice go. I let everything else fill my schedule, and that just compounded the feelings of stress and overwhelm that I was having. And I had to really dial back on the stuff that was causing me feelings of stress, and I had to infuse more yoga into my week. I had to make the time for that by letting go of some other things that were maybe really high intensity or just feeling like they were stressing me out. Nutrition. So nutrition is huge. Nutrition affects the way I feel physically, and that absolutely spills over into the way that I feel emotionally. Like many of you, when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, I want to come home and eat all of the things. And fortunately, I've kind of moved past that habit, but I can still find myself in that space where I want to comfort myself with food. And that leads to just not feeling good physically and emotionally afterwards. And I have celiac disease, so I absolutely have to, monitor what I'm eating, make sure that my food is safe. Or if I'm taking in gluten, if I accidentally get gluten into my diet, I'm going to feel it. And the same thing is true if I'm loading up on sugar, if I eat really heavy carbs. I found that I can't eat oatmeal because I just want to pass out. I want to fall asleep after. And that's not how I want to feel in my day. So I have to make those choices to leave out those foods that don't make me feel good physically or emotionally, because I want to and need to be, full of energy for my day. To see, you in your session and in your classes with me, I need to be ready. I need to be on. That doesn't, That's not to say that I don't get tired, but I want to eat in the way that keeps me in the best energy and the best mood for my day so I can keep showing up to do this thing that I love. So this has been my journey. This is what I've discovered that helps me feel better. So everything that works for me, I learn about it. I get a certificate in it. I add it to my list of services. The things that that I'm not passionate about, they might just kind of fall away, or they're just not. They're not for me to share with you. They are part of my routine. They're part of what I do. But these things that I absolutely believe in, that are crucial, these are kind of like daily things too. So all these things happen every day. Your meditation, exercise, yoga, nutrition, this is your daily life. And that's kind of what I have discovered, is that my daily habits are the things that just help me to feel better, so I can have more energy and a better mood throughout the day. So whatever it is that you want, if you want to have more energy, more confidence, more peace of mind, more happiness, more fulfillment, whatever it is that you want, you can have it. You are not stuck. And it starts with your daily habits. It starts with your health. And none of these things, we're not doing any of these things for their own sake. Like I said, we're playing the long game. You can have the things that you want. You can feel better. And I think deep down, you know that. I think you know the steps that you need to take. You know what you need to do. And I am here to help you make that more accessible in your daily life. So the purpose of these healthy habits is so that you can have a better life. You can have your best life. I've experienced this for myself. I have, reaped all of the benefits. That's not to say that I still don't have my moments, but I have less of those moments, and it's kind of a little bit easier to get myself out of it because I know what to do. I have learned that there is something I can do about it. It is accessible, and I want to share that with you so that you feel less bad. And that is why I do what I do. So if you have questions about anything that I've talked about here today, post them in the comments or send me a message, because I would love to help you to just feel a little better every day. All right, gang, I will see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks. Bye.